almost 8 months later. It was a Saturday in December. It was on the weekend rotation shift, which is usually a very boring shift. We had gotten a press release that said that remains were found by the beach, which is not something unusual. A lot of times they'll find deer bones or something like that. It's never anything. So I just wrote it up real quick and didn't really think much of it. The weekend passed, and on Monday, around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock,
Oh, you were walking fast?
and they said, don't keep
Oh,
moving
and you hurt yourself?
There's police investigation. That was my interest because we just got that relief.
Oh, you're going fast.
In that same vicinity.
Okay.
So I went straight to Ocean Parkway, and I got there.
Oh, you
there was
fell down?
3 police people, you can imagine.
You went down?
It's not about deer bones anymore.
Short statement here, and I'm gonna have to keep it to that short statement. It's an ongoing investigation. Missing persons unit involved this happened on Saturday. Follow up on an investigation. This is a pretty vast area here. At some point, the tour gave me an indication to a spot off the shoulder of the parkway. At that point, I saw the skeletal remains of the body.
The social worker was Sean Miller. He found that the case was over and saw it. When was
They knew that Shannon had a distinguishing characteristic. She had a titanium plate in her jaw from being abused by her boyfriend. And so they knew right away that this was someone else.
the police called me back and said, sorry, we're lying. Stupid. It wasn't Shannon, it wasn't Shannon. How is this not Shannon? Who else is there?
2 days later, on December 13th, we came back to do an evidence search in the immediate area of the body.
They were not yet searching the highway, Ocean Parkway. And very quickly they learned that this was a bigger case than they had. They found 3 intact skeletons.
Not 1, not 2, but 3 more sets of remains. 3 more bodies turned up in the desolate wooded brush near Gilgo Beach.
There's 4 of them bound, spaced apart. And they were bound. So this is definitely, not just, a rage killing. This is somebody who's out there hunting women.
They were bound along the same stretch of deserted highway, each about a 10th of a mile away from each other. None of them connected. Colossal meteorite had smashed into the second town.
Don't pick it up. Don't pick it up, okay? Okay. Okay.
Vaccine. I would go out to report various subjects. I did a lot about crime, injustice, and murder, and I had actually reported on all kinds of murders of murder in the Hamptons or super intimidated Rosslyn. But when women were discovered on the side of Ocean Parkway, I resisted writing about it.
Hey.
All my notes are off the side of the highway. There's 4 sets of remains were found.
It looks like somebody pulled up on the side of the shoulder. Remains. And maybe walked in a little bit into the brush. Possibly correlated down. It caused a cat to be out and stuff, taking her toll. But we work very closely with our partners. They had a DFD on the opposite of one night.
Real lot of things are coming to
in this area, that's a good direction.
No. No. Well, the stealth failed.
This prostitute's spot will tell you that usually not
Hold on, chat. I'll be right back. I go,
major problems.
go number 2 real quick.
Who these women are. We know of at least 2 prostitutes who disappeared here last spring. And let me tell you, their families are full of anxiety, fearing the worst, that this could be another Jack the Ripper.
I thought that we might never find out who these women were, but I was still with incorrect assumptions. They weren't off the grid the way that we sometimes think people in this situation are. People were looking for them. People missed them. People wanted to see them again.
Nothing prepares you for this. You don't expect your life to be in turmoil. My sister Marie went missing July 9, 2007. Marie is 2 years older than me. The two of us kind of took care of each other. I knew she was traveling to New York City. She had told me it was for Bob. It was late, and she called and said that she needed a ride from New York City. We live in Connecticut, so we weren't able to go and get her.
What's that one, Liz?
She said she was going to take the
What?
I fell.
You fell. You didn't
Last
fall.
night, so
Yeah,
You didn't fall.
it's fine.
Yeah, mommy's home. Spend time with mommy.
To New York.
Oh,
Come here, Mama.
Support version.
hey, what's that?
You know,
The foot rest.
Where?
experience with you, which is what we did. So what they can do
Goofy.
in that moment. We have all keep us safe. We just had our phone on us.
Huh?
We text when they got there.
No.
Here,
Where?
safety or security. He'd be a pocket.
God.
Other.
Look
Honestly,
down.
I still want to trade any good experience. I got to like in the ball. To me, the more resourceful.
Horsey.
Horsey, yeah. Daddy's horse. Daddy's horse.
You know, we're doing this together.
Sit down.
You're the only one there.
Oh, careful. You're wearing a dress, so you gotta be polite on stream, okay? Here, let's put this away.
No.
Stop.
Tired.
You're tired?
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at
microphone.
what happened. I'm cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go for.
Say hello.
Oh, hello? What's that?
We just couldn't
What's
make it
that?
work.
That's Naue and the horse.
She was stressed.
Daffy?
Yeah, Naue and the horse.
Black horse.
Black horse, yeah.
Let's sit down.
Pretty, huh?
Let's sit down.
Monday morning.
What do you mean sit down?
Yes.
I am sitting.
Oh.
The character I'm playing as is sitting down. He's sitting on the horse. He's sitting on the horse.
What's that? Paint?
No, sticker.
Oh, sticker.
Sticker.
What's that? What's that?
Mouse pad. Remote.
What's that?
Remote.
A sing?
Remote.
A sing? Sing.
Yeah.
A sing?
Mm-hmm.
A boring. A rest.
Boring? Okay.
Yeah.
Go with mommy. Go with mommy.
Sorry. I think it gradually kind of brought into, hey, you could do this. You make more money. Husband and my brother went out to New York. There was no GPS back then, so they were riding their motorcycles and they had a map. They just went to the last place they knew like she was staying at, where we knew that she was last located. We printed out a picture of her to people, but it was a dead end.
I met Melissa Chan, and I listened to her talk about the situation she was in. I was amazed. Nobody wanted to know her sister. They couldn't even get Maureen's name onto the list of missing persons in the database.
Can you tell me?
It seemed that it wasn't something that they expected.
Because they had an investigation.
Escorted. And because we started getting all kinds of things from everybody. She was here, she was spotted there. I felt it was my duty to help because we were deaf. If I could stay. So weeks after she said, listen, we have all of them in Black Hall. And we said hello.
What's on your Craigslist? I'm wondering if you don't know what that meant. Right, my mother would have known that. Do you know Marie?
Maureen, that's her name. It's very articulate. And it was small. It's like 4 minutes ago. She has a tattoo. On her right arm.
That says Nicole or something. Right?
Yeah, that's my friend. Which is missing.
She's not missing. I just saw her at a warehouse in Queens.
I was excited. I felt like I solved the case. I put my ass as Nancy Drew. We're gonna go get her, we're gonna bring her home. Can you call back on Fox so that I can tell the cops? So I can give the cops your phone number? Yeah, sure, that's not a problem. I waited days. That turned into weeks. That turned into a month. With no return phone call. Start living safe. When Mark, kids' birthdays passed, Mark Christmas passed. she's not. Am I ever gonna get children? And then one finally, that all changed.
Okay, well, good afternoon. As you can see, I'm going with District Attorney Tom Muller. We are here today to announce that all four women whose remains were discovered in Bilbo Beach last month have been positively identified.
You okay?
Are Lisa Martelli,
You okay, mommy?
July 2009.
You on my phone?
So on TV and just immediately just got tears and she was like, that's your sister. I thought about many different scenarios.
No, go away.
What happened?
Get up.
Oh, back here.
Last seen in June 2010 in Buffalo, New York.
It's the day of her birthday. The DNA test results came back that she was one of the victims found. Liliana was Megan's daughter.
Stick to the shadows. I don't want
And the
trouble.
police said, we found her. She said, the police found my mommy, why didn't they bring her home?
Amber Lynn Costello, last seen in September 2010 in North Apple.
It's two detectives there telling me that my sister had positively been identified. You know, I knew. I hadn't heard myself the whole time, I knew. But of course the first emotion is like, just don't want to hear it.
At Florian Raynard Barnes, Norwich, Connecticut. Last seen in July 2007 in New York City.
A few weeks were unidentified remains that have been found. Detectives came to my house and told us that they were able to identify her through DNA. Murray was missing for 3.5 years since the evidence was found. And I was so tired of being sad. I was just angry. I was just angry at the whole situation. Then we learned about the others. And who they were. And it's like I had to finally have someone that knew what I was going through.
To the residents of Suffolk County, the commissioner I say to them that the victim of these homicides engaged in private business, and these homicides appear to us to be directly related to that business.
Police would say, like, if you're not a sex worker, you don't have anything to prove. You don't want to think that somebody's going around murdering women, and you want to say, okay, well, they put themselves in a position. This is their reason why this happens. This is the reason why it happens. Then it was right to the we found out website, so some of those removed from this.
You guys all put up with prostitutes and hookers. They were just like anyone else there. It's do not use prostitutes or hookers because they were not that.
And that's what the police are saying.
Do you think anybody's gonna come forward with any information? Think that these guys are doing whatever they're doing? No. That's why we talk to you guys all the time. Because we want people to see exactly who these girls are. Because that's the only way we're gonna get justice.
The news media was very helpful to us at that time, but we've learned a lot that for most people it's just a story, and for us it's our life. Megan was loved by a lot of people, and this affected a lot of lives. I want them to find out who did this.
So last family photo together.
She's gotta come back.
It's the last one she had talked to. 6 hours before she was missing. We planned for her to come up for my birthday. She says, I have to work with my money, so I have my advice on super. I said, no shit. You call me this not gift. Don't do it, just come home with me. I love you, you don't have to bring me presents. Just come home.
At this point, we don't think Chen is connected to the Google Beach murders. But now that we ended up with 4 bodies found months later in near the same vicinity, it was appropriate that the investigators go back and interview the principals involved.
They did polygraph examinations on Michael Pack and Joseph Brewer, and they ruled out.
Mr. Brewer voluntarily gave up his vehicle to be checked. He allowed the detectives to check his home and his backyard. There was nothing to show that they were being untruthful.
Everything we do know about what occurred on the night that Chen disappeared comes out of the mouths of Brewer and Pack. Period. So you're taking all of their testimonies, hopefully with a grain of salt, maybe a rock-sized piece of salt.
You know, at that point, we weren't exactly sure if Shannon Gilbert was related or not. So we continued to investigate these 4 remains that were found. They were referred to as the Gilgo 4. There were various waypoints along the way that leaders to learn more about the killer, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, disappeared on July 9th of 2007. Melissa Bartholomew disappeared in July of 2009. Almost 2 years apart. And then Megan Waterman had disappeared in June of 2010. And then just 3 months later, in September of 2010, Amber Lynn Costello. So you seem to be getting more prolific.
The police started looking at the phone records of all of the women involved as soon as they possibly could. The first of those 4 women to go missing was Maureen Brainerd Barnes. She was last heard from calling from Penn Station, but her cell phone last registered at a cell tower near the Queensboro Bridge, which is in the direction that someone would be taking if they were driving out of Manhattan toward Long Island. The second of the 4 to disappear was Melissa Bartholomew. She was living in the Bronx, and according to people who knew her, she had said something about having an appointment with a client who was from Long Island. Her cell phone, sure enough, last registered in central Long Island. When Megan Waterman disappeared, she was in central Long Island already.
Last place Shagan was at was the Holiday Inn Hauppauge, New York. She left the hotel to meet a client and never came back. Megan Waterman's cell phone last registered 15 miles southwest of the hotel she was staying at, still on Long Island. A few months later, Amber Costello also disappeared from Long Island. She was living in a house with a bunch of friends in West Babylon.
How would I put it? Let me think this one. She was different. Like, quirky, goofy, you know, and would give you the shirt off her back. That Wednesday, Amber had put it in Craigslist. This one guy called. She was on the phone with him for a little bit, you know, playing the game back and forth. And when she was going to leave, she was leaving without her bag. No ID, not even a phone. Like, everything was left at the house.
She left her phone at home. What are you talking about? It was just a room. There was a set of guidelines to keep her safe. Makes no sense. You know? It doesn't at all.
Most of her work was done at home, but on the night she disappeared, she was convinced to go off off and meet a guy who was waiting for her in a car that was not right outside but a short distance away, so as not to be seen.
It's this young woman who's hiding a cell phone from her business. Strange thing, she leaves her cell phone behind her.
Yeah, no one she knows understands why.
No way of communicating if something happens here. Things can happen. Yeah, but her. This makes sense.
He had talked to her about money, like a lot of money. He offered, and she's like, well, if I stay with him for 24 hours, it'll be like $2,500 or some shit. Like, ambulance, a call for $200. So imagine, that's 10, 15 dates, and I guess he convinced her to leave.
While Amber didn't have her cell phone with her that night, the police did know a little bit about the burner phone that her phone was communicating with before she went on the date. And that burner phone registered in locations in Long Island. And so you see a pattern in all of the cell phone data that leads to Central Long Island.
We went to a meeting at the FBI office in Melville. Remember them laying out the different panels on the cell phone towers, and depending on which panel the phone connects to and how it bounces around, they're able to use their expertise to determine where they believe the phone flows originating from.
Certain relevant times, these burner phones, the killer was used were stationary, and he looked at the confluence of these calls, created this box. And likely that this was the area in which the phones were placed. It's a small area, it's not speaking one.
The theory that came forward was that the killer is someone local. Kind of makes you think that this is someone who is refining his tactics over time. The first two victims were picked up in New York City and then brought out to Long Island. The second two were people who are found nearby in Central Long Island. And so you get the feeling that this is a local person who starts to change his tactics to make things a little bit more convenient for him.
We grew up in Buffalo, New York. This was my sister's cosmetology graduation. After that, she wanted to get a job at a nice salon, so she moved to New York. The day that my sister went missing, the landlord's daughter had said that they had saw her on the stoop waiting, and I assume for a date. And she just never came home.
Another clue to the killer is from a tremendous amount of phone activity from Melissa Bartholomew's phone.
About a week after she went missing, they gave her phone. I was relieved to see my sister's name pop up on my phone, thinking it was going to be her, but it wasn't her on the phone.
Hear a man's voice, and just like my whole body like shut down, like I was just in shock.
He was taunting her. He was basically torturing her. She kept asking where her sister was, and he just wouldn't tell her.
He made it clear that he knew who she was because he was calling from Melissa's phone, and it was Amanda on the phone. He had gone through the phone book and looked at the photographs too because he saw that Amanda was part black.
She's her journey and bringing it down. The only thing I think he might know is like she had a picture of me on her phone or something. Just kind of control. He was enjoying it. Like, that's not really everything I know.
Or with your sister.
And then he said something to the effect of, "I'm watching your sister's body rot."
were 7 or 8 calls that were made to the system. So at some point there was a request by
Oh, Mama,
agency
Ali,
to actually tap the phone.
stop it.
They started trying to trace the calls, but this meant that Amanda, a teenage girl, was being used as bait, essentially, sitting around and waiting for this phone to ring so that she could try to draw him out and keep him on the phone.
Terrified me. I was terrified to date people I didn't know because I was just always nervous that it was going to be, this person. I just tried to keep to myself and the people that I already knew, and just always watching my back, checking my house, checking my car, just I was nervous. I couldn't focus on school. So my school went out the door. I just quit.
She described the voice as male, middle-aged, not a young person. She assumed white, but she would have no way of knowing. But the police start to try to pinpoint a location, and the location ends up being Midtown. This is just somebody who actually works in Manhattan, and they live in Central Long Island. Then they commute back and forth. But then the call stopped very abruptly, and that's as best as they could do.
Police on Long Island, New York are searching for a serial killer. They say all 4 women whose bodies were found were killed by the same person.
Police say they still have no suspects in this case.
I was Babylon 10 supervisor at the time. I was preparing and I was beginning this run for Suffolk County Executive at the same time that the first victims were discovered over on the Barrier Beach. So I'm observing this as an outsider, but also somebody who was running for the office. It was on people's minds, certainly, who had done this. A lot of questions, a lot of anxiety, a lot of concern.
It was a ton of leads coming in, and making sure that we're covering all those and just making sure that we didn't miss anything. To the behavioral analysis unit, gave their input, which was very helpful, to get a profile.
They say that he's a white male, probably in his 40s. He's socially competent, but very, very devious. Clearly represent very well in the community. He may even be a family man. If he's lived with a family, his family is split. Because they examined the crime scene, it was pretty obvious that they were murdered at Gilgo Beach. The investigation would indicate that wherever they were killed, they were wrapped, carried to the vehicle, and then driven to Gilgo Beach, disposed of.
The bodies were all found wrapped in Berlin. It just made me think, is it somebody who works at a nursery or a garden center?
There was a theory that he was a hunter, or that this was a fisherman who was able to be undetected because he was out on the water most of the time. That's where he brought the bodies. But by the spring of 2011, there's still no leads, no suspects, no persons of interest.
I just wish that they would find her and act like that situation.
Police were supposed to have been working with Mary. She was urging them to find her daughter, and Mary felt they weren't getting much of anything. Look at the consequences here. 2 of those girls who died after she disappeared. If the Gilbert case had been pursued immediately, that might not have happened.
I'm not sure if police didn't look for her daughter. Finally, in the spring of 2011, they were
Yeah, Mama.
I'll fall down.
No, don't fall.
By air, by foot, and by uncontrolled state, they scoured the thick, thorny brush.
We are doing as thorough a search as we possibly can, with diligent, systematic, and thorough search.
They're closing the roads down. And it's going farther and farther and farther down. And then, March 29th, may find more remains, their head and hands on Ocean Parkway.
And they kept finding more bodies.
Bombshell tonight, more bodies on the same strip of beach.
On April 4th, we found 3 sets of human remains in one day. It's like, what is going on? You know, are these bodies all related?
Now we're up to 8 bodies in 2 months. And they're finding clearly body parts. A skull, teeth. So, how many people are there?
The entire search area along the north side of Ocean Parkway was about 12 miles. We continued to search to make sure there's nothing else going here.
More remains turn up on a beach on Long Island. 10 sets of human remains have been uncovered.
They're a matter of
But
death.
you know what?
Police won't
I am a
say.
Takahashi.
The grisly mystery just deepens.
Now we're faced not just with 4 women, but 5th person, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's unbelievable.
And through all this, Shannon Gilbert, who started the whole search, still has not yet been found.
It's the biggest serial killer case in the nation. And you've seen these women potentially living, finding this type of things.
I am the sender.
Basically,
Remember your training.
we know what is this person's name. This person came to hunt down the serial killer who was amongst us the whole time.
His hands shook as he held his sword. Why didn't his siblings teach him to fight?
You're no Paula.
What? Apple?
You want my phone? You want my phone?
No. No call. What's that?
Okay.
Amber Costello was the last person in this.
Well, I didn't know that was gonna be a target. Okay.
She went missing. Only 3 months before they found the bodies. So there's your best fresh lead. That's the one you look at. Everything else is
No.
Shortly after the investigation begins, in 2010, police go to Amber Costello's house for their to figure out who was the last person to see her alive, what her movements were like, who she talked to.
At the time they found the bodies, between the decade, I told them that there's a guy that really points up every pretty red flag in the town. Maybe you should look into. Weeks before she went missing, there was a guy.
This one was carrying a letter.
house.
So we're being hunted by
She told
Mitsuhide's
me
Ronin, are we?
only dancing.
I'll keep watch for them.
There was no sex. I was out for the night. Probably hadn't been gone from the house like 20, 25 minutes. And she called, freaking out. She's like, I'm in bed. I'm hiding. I told him I was dancing. He was grabbing on me. She's like, no one's been answering for him. I came flying back to the house with Dad. And we busted open the door, went right to the bathroom. I'm like, what's up? And she's like, is he there? And I hear a man.
Easiest way to stay safe is to stay hidden.
I turn around, it's this giant standing.
This dude was literally the size of the door. He was pissed. Wanted to explain that.
I was like, you're out of here. He's like, no.
He had a good thing. I told him. I was starting like over the door.
We got moving. The whole time, we're pushing him, trying to fight at the door. But instead of looking at, me fighting him, he's looking past me at her. It's almost like his eyes got this focus to him. Imagine a predator was just tripped, like off, pushed him out. And as he walked into the car, he's just looking straight at him. When he's like, I'll see you. And just got car and left. When the cops asked me about it, the first thing I said, it's gotta be that motherfucker.
Knocked out. Show me the loot.
What does that mean? It means your key for soul right now is no longer here and it doesn't have a voice. Every day, Candace flew to Richmond looking for any information about her sister's death. Did my sister, did she beg? Did she say please, please, let her kids, like, you know, there'll be all those answers that I'm pretty sure the killer will answer.
But first, police have to catch the killer. Over the past year, search crews uncovered a total of 10 victims.
You won't kill me!
Beginning of April, we got 10 on suspects, and there were no leads, no suspects, no interest. Stayed on mission of with pressure of several months of media attention and no answers at all, the police have to respond somehow.
Everybody all set? Okay, let's go.
Wait.
Today we're going to
Regrets
discuss
challenging
the regarding the remains discovered by the Suffolk County Police Department. You can see on this map the original 4 victims who were discovered in December 2010. As Ms. Costello, Bartholomew, Ms. Barnes, Ms. Waterman. Continuing on the map, number 5 found March 29th, 2011. The remains were found at 9/11.
It was a Hutchinson case.
Anyone!
Openly identified as a woman named Jessica Taylor. She had a distinctive tattoo that was relevant to identifying her. Her torso had been found in Manorville in 2003, about 50 miles to the northeast. Then we found another young adult female, toddler child, and a male that was dressed in red.
Forensic anthropologists conclude that Vale is more likely Asian in his late teens to early 20s.
Nights that was a bag with extremities in it, and then police found a skull.
Now we're faced with 10 unsolved murder cases by spring of 2011. 11 if you count Shannon, who's still missing.
Yeah, we're still concerned about the disappearance of Shannon Gilbert. We're going to continue our efforts to find her. It's obviously something that we'd like to bring to conclusion. Also, our investigators and also for the family.
All of the victims' families, they all came to New York to see Power. I met them all. I got them all together with a tape recorder, like I was telling you, it was sort of getting them all with one another and comparing notes.
Like this, you know, there's just a single, as they call it, a single prostitute, you know, just me, right, police, put them right now, we're together. Yeah.
6, 7 plus voices.
I wanted to see where they found my daughter, It's to pay my bills, to finally say goodbye to her.
We're also here to celebrate the lives of these women.
In a sense, I was scared and kind of sad. But it also was a point of healing.
She's here!
Since the message to the girl, you're a very weak man, you're very small, innocent girls, and you're very mature. It's not supposed to be true as a older girl. It's time to say, continue to return to this as long as it takes.
She's out there, she's missing, and our family and our friends. We're gonna find her, and we're gonna find out who hurt Shannon and all the others.
While I was reporting that here, I can't tell you the number of times people would say to me, why haven't they searched the marsh in Oak Beach, which is really the last spot where Shannon had been seen.
In 2010, we never thoroughly searched the Oak Beach Marsh. That particular area was wet, soggy ground. The water was brackish and cold. It was a very hazardous environment. And to dedicate that amount of resources when it was just a mystery as to what happened to her, you know, and it was just not something that we did.
It's just amazing to me. You know, she goes to Joan Brewer's house at Oak Beach. She runs around, and there's a marsh that's right here, and she's last seen right here for 19 months. They never search this one. They don't come anywhere near it. It's just stunning.
I can't comment on the case because they're not working the case.
And then suddenly there were glimmers in the media saying that the police were going to search the marsh.
In December 2011, police resumed Shannon Gilbert.
Who is skilled enough to take my Yabusame challenge? Huh?
You offer Yabusame training here? Or is this just a show of skill?
I offer little instruction, but practice is the best training. But it is an impressive display of skill for a samurai.
I'll send my friend Yasuke. His skills are most impressive.
I will be the judge of that.
To identify any items that they could maybe hurt. I hope it's not. I'm all shooting out the target line.
Police confirmed they found her pocketbook, her ID, her jeans, her cell phone, and her shoes in the marsh.
That changed the whole dynamic. That triggered an all-in search.
Who is skilled enough to take my Yabusame? Huh. You're here to take my Yabusame challenge. It is a skill every samurai should master.
I admit, I lack practice in mounted archery.
There, you said it. Practice. There's no better training. I have set up arenas throughout the land for samurai like you.
A welcome change from all the talk I hear of Teppo.
I agree. Nagashino was a victory for Teppo warfare. But it was Lord Nobunaga's numbers that won that battle. The weaknesses of Teppo were revealed. Misfires, powder that wouldn't light. Too much left the chance.
Very close to the
But
anniversary
Yabusame
of when
is a time-tested art.
Better to rely on
So,
skills that have been
the Nichols
honed for
families were there
generations.
to remember their sisters,
Spoken like
their
a true
daughters.
samurai.
Family spent the day
Now,
here in
do you
Oak
want to
Beach,
try
and
the
police
course?
searched this area behind me for the remains of Shannon Gilbert. They said they wanted to clear the area. Police
I
found
will
the
give
bodies of
Yabusame a try.
year ago.
Welcome to the Kyoto Yabusame Arena.
I was at the press conference at Oak Beach.
Shoot the wooden targets on the left side of the truck from horseback. Sounds simple, eh?
You had just left here.
I am ready.
And with the four girls, as we drove by, we'd see whatever they call that game, shooting out. And there was somebody actually got crushed out, and we knew that there was actually somebody in there. We became ourselves. We expected something big to be announced. It kind of needed to the process before, but we didn't have official confirmation.
That is how it is done.
I didn't want to believe that.
Yes! I should keep you here to teach my students.
Oh, baby, I got a new horse.
Yeah, I don't tell us I've heard it so many times before.
Please confirm that the remains found were Shannon Gilbert.
We talk it out. I don't have words to say on the moment now. Today,
Getting too old for this.
it's not just she, it's all of us.
Shannon Gilbert's body was naked, a half a mile away from where she was last seen, but very far away from the belongings. And it launched all sorts of theories. Did someone dump her there? Or did she flail her way through the marsh because she saw the lights from the highway on the far side and thought she could get there?
This may be just a young lady ran into the bush in a hysterical state and fell down and, expired for some reason. Yes, that's, it looks like that right now, when you look at this array, it's possibly like that.
Police were saying that Shannon Gilbert's death was accidental. Everyone was amazed to think that the police would have seen this without any investigation.
Welcome to the Setsu Yabusame Arena.
She was found without her jeans on.
You must shoot the clay jars on both sides of the track from horseback. Sounds simple, eh?
Would it make sense for her to stop in the middle of this marsh and rip off like a pair of wet jeans?
I will count down from 3, 2,
the jeans were in the
1, go!
I've heard some people maybe should have put pants off, so it had to be found right. But there's something called paradoxical compressing. When you get hypothermic, about 20 to 50% of people feel as though they're extremely hot in the late stages of hypothermia. And even in the Arctic, they found people that are extremely close.
I would do better.
Let your breath steady. You have the makings of a good archer. Keep practicing. Do you want to start over?
Yes. Let me try again.
I will count down from 3, 2,
Today we have met with the examiner and the doctor and the defender's office performed the investigation of Shannon Gilbert's death.
There was a lot of work going into the medical analysis of Shannon's remains.
Betrayal.
Medical examiner
Do not fight the movement of your horse. Use it. You have the makings of a good archer. Keep practicing. Do you want to start over?
Yes. Let me try again.
There was no fault that he was here.
I will count down from 3, 2, 1.
So,
go!
I wanted to do another examination beyond what the medical examiner had done. We didn't have faith in what she had done.
New York forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Bogdan investigated serial killers Joel Whitman and Victoria Smith during the David burglars.
And Dr. Michael Bogdan put on the case.
David Whitman was consistent with his. He said that death would be consistent with
That went well.
There is damage to the hyoid bone and the
You could stand among legends one day.
that get injured and fractured in strangulation. One has to seriously consider that she was strangled.
Baby, I got another horse. I got another horse. I'm doing this archery. I'm doing like this archery training on my horseback. And it looks like every time you do one, you get a new horse.
Can you deny that?
But you have to shoot all the targets every time.
What's really an extended common grave of Ocean Parkway, that some of their torsos are found in Hempstead and Manorville and other parts of Long Island, with their heads and hands and arms and so on being found along Ocean Parkway in this similar same places. How do you say that that's mere coincidence?
It's not like the Gilgo victims related to the Manorville victims. So I did a story linking the homicides. One was mostly just talking about, like, since you're paying attention to these cases now, there's a serial cases that have been killed in the first world. Out of the new victims were found, they were able to identify Jessica Taylor. And she had a lot of similarities to the Gilgo Four. They were women in their 20s, they worked as sex workers, and they were very petite. Jessica Taylor was also last seen working near the Port Authority in Midtown Manhattan. It was very similar to the disappearances of Elizabeth Bellamy and Maureen Brainerd Barnes, who also disappeared from the New York City area. Based on cell phone records, police believe that the suspect worked in Midtown and lived locally in Manhattan. Both Jessica Taylor and Jean Doe number 6 were dismembered, and their body parts were found on Ocean Parkway in 2011 and in the early 2000s in the Pine Barrens. So I was sure they were linked to the Gilgo Four. I really felt it was the same killer. I really felt that one person did this.
As a reporter going out to cover this case, people would take me aside and say, the thing you need to know about Suffolk County is that the police this, the district attorney that, and the first 20 times I would sort of wave aside saying, this is a murder case, I don't want to talk about conspiracy theories. Then after a while, it became clear that these weren't theories.
In the beginning of the Gilgo Beach investigation, I started Newsday as an investigative reporter looking into police and prosecutorial misconduct. Suffolk County PD is one of the largest law enforcement jurisdictions in the United States, and it's one of the highest paid police forces in the United States. So really, it's like hitting the lottery among police departments, and with that, I think comes a lot of power.
The police commissioner, Richard Dormer, who's on the verge of retirement, has been telling people that he thinks that one killer is probably responsible for them all.
The issue of one killer, two killers, three killers for the 10 remains that have been found has been discussed. Facts of the case indicate one person.
He doesn't have exact evidence to suggest this. He just sort of says, you know, what are the odds that there'd be more than one killer operating in the same geographic area? It has to be one killer. But the DA, Thomas Skoda, doesn't like that explanation.
He says that the theory is that there was only one killer.
very, very much disagree with that theory.
Skoda was relying on the idea that those first 4 women who were found in December were all found as intact skeletons found in birth. There were other remains that were found not so far from there, but they weren't all intact. There was no medical evidence. He was able with that information to suggest that there's no way to link these people to one killer.
The area in and around Gilgo Beach has been used to discard human remains for some period of time. As distasteful as that is, there is no evidence that all of these
I can't
remains
enter this
are
coffin,
activated.
but Yasuke can.
I was just shocked. Ocean Parkway could definitely have been a dumping ground, but it could also be that there would have been leaving body parts there for years and no one had found them. And he got comfortable and he adapted and he learned. So it just seemed way too early in the investigation for Skoda to completely shut out the theory that there was only one killer.
This mysterious thing was, why would a district attorney openly go to war with the police commissioner in front of everybody at a press conference where the whole world was watching?
Watching you guys publicly go back and forth to each other, how do you expect us to trust in you?
Nobody knew this and what serial killer, what's happening here.
This is a DA that wants to control the police department. This is the biggest case to happen to this police force in a generation, and he's not about to let anyone do this on his way out. He can't
What? How many babies do you have? Look at all your babies over here. How many babies do you have?
I think Skoda uses his theory, which is based on little more than a hunch, to dissent from
A couple of people that I respected very much and recommended strongly. Somebody by the name of Jim Burke. Jim Burke worked in Tom Skoda's office for 10 years. He was head of investigations for that office. And Tom Skoda highly recommended him. Skoda was a highly respected, well-regarded district attorney that says that to you.
So we went from inspector being the DA's officer to chief of department, which is about a 4 rank, the highest sworn rank.
Burke, throughout his career, he was known to be a troubled officer who was chased by scandal. He had more than a dozen internal affairs complaints against him. And so to put that underqualified, scandal-plagued officer at the top of one of the largest jurisdictions in the United States was a completely
Hey,
shocking.
serenity, no, mama.
Said Hero of the Year award. The award is named in honor of Thomas Skoda, District Attorney of Suffolk County since 2002.
Tom Skoda goes way back in Suffolk County. He got his start as a prosecutor in the 1970s. He spends 2 decades as this kind of headline-making prosecutor. I started looking into the Jimmy Burke and Tom Skoda and came up with 3 as a pair. And the reporting just became more and more disturbing the more they're able to do it. On April 1979, there's this horrific discovery made. A 13-year-old boy named Johnny Pius was found dead in the schoolyard, beaten and trampled, and most disturbingly, stones stuffed down his throat. It's this really shocking crime. It's
What's up, Masker? Do you still do Roblox? Yeah, I will. I will still do Roblox. I'm just really into Assassin's Creed right now, man. I want to spend a lot of time on this game and complete the story and get, like, you know,
teenagers
maybe
off the
a
street
possible 100% on this game.
finds their
I think that'd be pretty dope.
15 Boy Scout who's never been in trouble before, who confesses in the back of the detective's police car.
Whole bunch of first rosters, but actual partner.
But his confession doesn't really make a ton of logistical sense, and there was almost no chance that that confession was going to hold up in court. Despite that, Skoda sets out to
Yes, sir. How you doing, Masker?
trying to make snitches of other kids.
I see you on YouTube.
This 16-year-old run-of-the-mill juvenile delinquent rescues the case with a very convenient story, and his name was Jimmy Burke.
Did you hear David Filani ask Michael who killed John Pius?
He said, how did you kill somebody for just stealing money? How did someone kill someone for just stealing money?
And did Michael Guerrero respond to that?
Yes, he did. He said, if you were drunk and stoned and you didn't want to get caught, you would do the same thing.
Burke's word becomes sort of his strongest weapon in prosecuting these kids.
Those boys, they go to jail. Harsh that Burke system. But when you take a deep dive into it, they might have cut some corners to get those convictions. Suffolk County was during that time, over American, there was 95% confession rate on those states.
There's no legitimate way to get confessions in that amount of cases. That likely indicates that these confessions may be dubious at best. And when you read the testimony of Burke, it's hard to avoid any conclusion other than that Burke is saying exactly what he thinks Tom Skoda wants him to say. And it went central to what, in my opinion, was most likely wrongful convictions in the Pius case.
This case sets the relationship up between Jimmy Burke and Tom Skoda for the next 30 years. Jimmy Burke becomes a city cop, and then became a Suffolk County cop. He rise up for the ranks. Tom Skoda takes Jimmy Burke over as the commanding officer of the district attorney's chief of police. One of the most powerful positions in the state, in charge of the Gilgo Beach investigation.
James Harden, they stopped collaborating with Nassau County and neighboring county. They never collaborated with the state police. They didn't collaborate with the local sheriff's office. In fact,
Well, I hope I'm going the right way. Been in here for like 6 minutes.
and they were ready to come.
I don't know if I'm going the right way or not.
Tom Skoda, the DA, sent them away, saying that their work wasn't relevant to the investigation.
I was the Suffolk County detective. Chief Department. I was told from a high-ranking police officer that they wanted subpoenas for a cell-tower dump of every phone that was hitting on X cell tower, Y cell tower, because that's how you determine where a burner phone comes from. That was not granted by Burke. Burke said that's too invasive.
You know, right on, actually, to reference Chief Devoted, it was very important.
What? You hungry? Teeth? What's wrong with your teeth? You hungry? You hungry? You want to go brush your teeth? Right now in a little bit. Give me my phone. You're not going to use phone? Give it to mama. Give it to mama. Where are you going? Where? Give it to mama.
The district attorney at Tom Skoda wanted the bureau involved. On cell phones early on, and then we kind of dissipated into that.
Detectives were also
What? Where'd it go? Oh, you put it in charge? Is it charging? Okay, that's fine. Are you hungry? Your tummy hurts? You want some cereal?
It's providing information to the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit to assist with the analysis, the profiling of the killer. And that was the doing of Tom Skoda and James Burke.
This is the department director.
What? You want more? Well, more. Bubbles? Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Red, blue. Whoa. Okay, go ahead.
No, not by the computer. Go over there. Go over there, Mom. Mama. Baby, she needs to go pee. She's gotta go pee.
You gotta go pee-pee? Oh, go pee-pee. Go, 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 go. Here, you want some? No,
Nancy Burke to the department. And it states that when a member of the service is contacted by a member of an outside law enforcement agency, the member must notify the supervisor of the first possible instance. Basically, they don't want anybody talking to the FBI. It's like, you know, the FBI is offering to help you. They're giving you the leeway to do it. They're paying for the expense of it. But Jimmy Burke, we don't want the FBI involved in stuff. Not even negotiate with it. It's why would you do that? Good morning. We are here today for the Alligators for significant development in the ancient Eagle murder case. Leanne Smith, Chief of Police of Suffolk County, gave her at one age 14 she had sexual relations with her earlier teacher.
So it was doing sexual behavior was frustrating since not constantly yet. He began to get really aggressive. And he used the shit that I was not good for.
And this happened after we left the
first time I met him in passing in 2011, and then August 2011 is when we had our committee trust.
We're trying to finish the investigation. We're facing the death.
Serial killers. He is saying that he's covering for his friends.
There's a lot of conjecture that Jimmy could do something. Do it the fact that they're trying to suppress these allegations. It doesn't take a stretch to think that they're used.
If it's somebody who's specifically targeting sex workers, and for the bulk of this investigation, especially under Jimmy Burke, this is a community that was like a moving like.
I think one aspect in victimizing marginalized individuals is that perpetrators feel a sense of safety. They feel that the person won't go to law enforcement. They get
Release from not active and reaching out to them and making them feel comfortable coming forward. So we weren't really utilizing the ability of people who probably in these bodies or assets in solving these cases. And those sorts of things. Instead of talking, and I'm here to check in with me and see you heard about the good it's probably I see my who's excited to talk about it. See you talking nervous. Like I'm wrong with that, I see you it's for everything imagine. It's actually and put it back to look at the bodies and without having nerves. think they look very bad. It's really bad. It's
Come the fuck on, dude.
And scared.
Yeah, okay, Mama,
That's
those
my most affiliation.
Oh, something's there.
So there is no chance I was walking into the police station. They would not sue me. If there had been called for something. That's what the second step. It's just showed me before. To try to get donations and have the best fans. Responsible for the second 1993 uniquely positioned
It's profound in the Honduras, which is significant because two of the victims connected to the Long Island serial killer case are linked to remains that are out in America. So it got everybody talking.
This man's going after other sex workers and in the woods. This is very, very similar to the women who were found on Ocean Parkway. It's not that there's an arrest. It's actually good news for me in a while. It's like we did some good news. But this person also the one who killed Harry Robert. Lots of them.
And maybe a little face.
There's this big question as to why Suffolk County law enforcement did not make progress on the case. And I think we now know that one of the main reasons it's
Baby, did you take your meds?
was because
Mhm.
rather than focusing on that case, her and other top investigative minds in law enforcement were totally consumed with just trying to keep him out of prison. In late 2012, a petty criminal, Christopher Lowe, and a buddy of cars slipped out. Christopher Lowe is addicted to heroin, other opioids, and he's breaking into cars that support his habit. One of the cars that they break into is a black GMC Yukon, and Loeb steals from that truck a duffel bag. Takes it back to his house, starts rifling through it, finds a gun belt, pornography, and sex toys. And then he finds that there's union cards that say Chief of the Park. And he starts to realize that this duffel bag belongs to Jimmy Joe. This guy, Christopher Lowe, the most unlucky guy on the planet Earth. he had no black in his body. So they bring Christopher Loeb to the precinct. All of a sudden, top detectives start showing up. It's basically all hands on deck. You know, it's essentially just a car robbery. Jimmy Burke goes there, someone steps in, slaps him, beats him up. Don't mess up the name. Shut up, show me the ass, you fucking son of a Officer Toledo find the way back. They chained me to the floor for 10 hours. Beat me, assaulted me. I couldn't even lift my neck. From the very beginning, the police department closed its ranks. The feds knew about this beating within days and started investigating. But when feds show up to try to interview these witnesses, they run into this blue wall of silence where they can't get any police to tell the truth about what occurred. It ultimately took 3 years for the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office to break it. They were waiting for a crack in the arm, and it finally occurred. A lot of the people in the room gave up the fact that, yes, the chief of police went in there.
What's wrong, Serenity?
It is a strange sight indeed. James Burke in handcuffs. The FBI arrested the 51-year-old veteran cop this morning.
The investigation was in Finn Burke's assault.
Where are you going, Mommy? No more bubbles?
Alright, we got our red samurai gear on, we got our horsey with some samurai armor. We're of going up to this meditation site, I believe.
I have traveled far to spread the teachings of my master and his master before him.
Sure.
I will grasp the Naginata until I die. To pass on this art form to the next generation. Do you wish to be part of this legacy?
need to keep out of sight.
This is bad.
Whoa.
How am I going to get in there? It was an Oni. I saw it. Who are you?
I was sent to recover Lord Sadatame's letter.
Oh, you won't want to when you learn what took it. Lord Sadatame didn't believe me. But if you're going in there, you should know. It was an Oni!
I've always wanted to see one. Where do I go?
Oh, you don't want the Oni to see you. Trust me. It came from the bamboo grove. Follow the path behind the temple. Be careful. It's fast.
Alright, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you're lurking, I appreciate it. I will catch you guys tomorrow, early in the morning, hopefully.